And as the Taliban take over Afghanistan, thousands across the world are protesting against the hostile takeover. Hundreds of Afghans living in Belgium gathered outside the European institutions, calling out Taliban's seizure of power in Kabul. The demonstrators held the Afghan national flag, raising placards which read, "Stop helping the killers." In Barcelona, women gathered protesting against the Taliban rule. They called for the safety of Afghan women. This comes as women in war-torn nation fear Taliban rule. Dozens of demonstrators staged a rally outside the UN's Geneva compound calling for freedom of expression for Afghanistan. The demonstrators called for continued schooling for women and girls, holding up banners reading "Make the Afghan people count." Afghans in Germany looked on in shock as the Taliban took over the capital. Protesters took to the streets of Berlin demanding the evacuation of endangered Afghans. Germany had the second largest military contingent in Afghanistan after the United States. It now wants to airlift thousands of German-Afghan dual nationals, as well as rights activists, lawyers and people who worked with the foreign forces.
Aber es unterstreicht die Verantwortung, die der deutschen Bund müssen sofort aus Afghanistan evakuiert werden. Die Frau zu den Führungspersonen westlicher Staaten, dass sie sich schämen sollen.
In Lesbos, Afghan migrants in refugee camps pleaded to authorities to not leave the Afghan people alone. Greece and Lesbos in particular have been at the front line of migrant arrivals to the European Union for years. Authorities fear the arrival of a new wave of migrants with the latest takeover. They are now pushing for a coordinated EU response. In Washington, D.C., protesters marched into Lafayette Square, right opposite to the White House. The demonstrators held signs aloft denouncing the Taliban, chanting, "Biden, you betrayed us."
Children, where is U.S. aid? All this money, where is this aid?
In London, protesters gathered outside UK's Parliament, calling on the country's government to do more to evacuate residents in Afghanistan. The demonstrators include those who have family members living in Afghanistan. They held signs with the images of those who were stranded in the country. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.